Everyone, welcome to the preparation program for IBPS Clerk Prelims 2018, and as a part of our training for the clerk examination under the reasoning topic, today we are going to cover an important topic of data sufficiency. Look at the prelims examination of the IBPS Clerk 2017. You will see that there were 5 questions from the data sufficiency topic, and data sufficiency is not a separate reasoning concept as such. What it is a separate way, a unique way, a distinct way of asking questions in the examination. So it's not a separate topic. The topics that you see normally in questions of data sufficiency are based on puzzles, they're based on blood relations, coding, order and ranking. So order and ranking is one very important topic. Then we have questions based on basic circular seating arrangement. Then we have coding and decoding and blood relations. These are the direction sense also sometimes. So the traditional reasoning concepts, but asked in a different way, that is what is data sufficiency. We will discuss what is the question template and what are the steps that we should follow. Along with that, we will also discuss problems to make you understand how to approach and solve problems of data sufficiency in the examination. So the goal of the class will be to understand the data sufficiency questions and build approach through problem discussion. So what we will do first is to see what is the format. DS here stands for data sufficiency. Okay. So what are the important concepts of DS? That is how we normally refer to it. DS and DI are the two things you will always see. DS is data sufficiency and DI is data interpretation. So this is the template of a data sufficiency question. You will see that there is a question that is being asked, but enough information is not present in the question for you to solve the question, right? For example, if I ask you something like, how is Ram related to Kumar, and I just close that and I don't give any additional information, how will you able to solve? So if I say, how is Ram related to Kumar, how is Ram related to Kumar, and I just stop here and I don't give anything, I put a question mark and say, this is my question. Now can you solve this question? Because we don't have any information given about these two persons, there is no way that you can solve and find out the relation between the two persons. What is done? Additional information is provided as two distinct statements. Additional information is required and that is given as two distinct statements which you have to use to solve and find out the answer. Clear? So there will be statement 1 that will give you some information regarding Ram and Kumar, and statement 2 which will also give you some information regarding Ram and Kumar. For example, let us say that statement 1 says, that Kumar is the husband of let us say Reena, who is the mother of Ram. Now can we solve from this statement? Let us just see. This is a statement 1. So Kumar is the husband of Reena. So Kumar is the husband, Reena is the wife, and Reena is the mother of Ram. So definitely then Kumar is the father of Ram. There is no doubt about that. The question is, how is Ram related to Kumar? Now we don't know. In data sufficiency, what we also do is we don't make assumptions. Okay. So we don't know the gender of this person. We don't know whether this person is a male or female. While solving a traditional question of blood relation, we might take the name of a person also as an information, but since this is a data sufficiency question, we would not do that. Okay. So here we can find out what is the relation of Kumar with Ram, but not the relation of Ram with Kumar. So let us say, for example, statement 2 says that Ram is the brother of Ram is the brother of Seema. Clear? Now that we know that Ram is a male, we can tell that yes, Ram is the son of Kumar. But then while solving statement 2, we have also used some information from statement 1, and this we should always be careful about while marking answer. So this is a little idea of how a question or how a data sufficiency question can be presented to you. A basic question that is incomplete and additional information from the question as two distinct statements. What we should do is try solving the question from statement 1 first, then we should try solving from statement 2, and if we cannot solve from 1 and 2 separately, then we should join the information of the two statements together. And then also if we cannot solve the question, then the question is not solvable. So now always read the answer options. Whenever you are solving a question of data sufficiency, don't assume that the answer options will be same as what you are familiar with. The answer options can keep changing, so just be careful about that. In this example template that I have given to you, the answer option 1 says if statement 1 alone is sufficient to answer the question, but 2 alone is not sufficient. So that means if we can solve the question from the information of statement 1 alone, but we cannot solve from the statement 2 alone. Now second is statement 2 alone is sufficient to answer the question, and we don't need the information from statement 1. So statement 2 alone is sufficient to answer the question, but statement 1 alone cannot answer. That will be one answer option. One answer option says that if both statements are considered together, if both the statements 1 and statement 2 are considered together, then it is sufficient. That means from 1 alone we cannot solve, from 2 alone we cannot solve, but if we combine the information, for example here when we combine the information, then only we will get the answer. Clear? Now fourth is if either statement 1 alone or statement 2 alone are sufficient to answer the question, and 5 is if neither of the statements are sufficient to answer the question, and even after combining we cannot answer the question. So always read the answer options before you mark your answer. Now let us see next the flow chart for solving data sufficiency questions. What is the flow chart? So let us start with statement 1. Is it sufficient? So always we start from statement 1. If statement 1 is sufficient, yes. Now you see, suppose answer option is there A, which says statement 1 alone, statement 1 alone. I am just writing in short, but not statement 2 alone, right? B says from statement 2 alone, but not from 1. C says statement 1 and statement 2 together are required. D says that either statement alone can solve. Either statement alone, and E says cannot be solved even after combining, can't be solved after combining also. So we can't solve from alone. I am just writing in short just to make you understand what are the options and how this flowchart goes. If statement 1 is sufficient and the answer to this question is A, yes, that means now the answer can only be either A, that is 1 alone, or either statement alone. So answer can be A or D, nothing else can be the answer. If statement 1 alone can answer the question, that means answer can now not be B, the answer cannot be C, the answer cannot be E. So we will try to see is statement 2 sufficient also alone. Yes, then the answer is 4. 4 means the answer is D. Alright, are you understanding? no, then the answer becomes A. So, if statement 1 alone is sufficient, then the answer can only be D or A, B, C and E we can cancel. If statement 1 is sufficient, is sufficient or not, if you find out that statement 1 is not sufficient, that means answer cannot be A, answer cannot be D, the answer can only be B or C or E. That is one thing that we can very clearly say is statement 1 sufficient. This helps you in eliminating answer options. Now, so once we find out that okay, statement 1 is not sufficient, we go to statement 2 and see is statement 2 sufficient or not. If the answer becomes yes, then the answer becomes B, that means we can solve from 2 alone, but not from 1. If 2 is also not sufficient, then we should try to combine, are the two together sufficient? If the answer becomes yes, then it will become C, and if together also they cannot solve, that will become E. So, that is how we should go ahead with all the questions of data sufficiency. Try with statement 1, see whether statement 1 can solve or not solve, clear. Another trick that we can do to solve tricky questions of data sufficiency is do not start with statement 1, start with statement 2, that will make it very clear to you. Sometimes tricks and traps are there that will mislead you into getting the answer as let us say the answer as B if you fall into that trap. So, it is always safer to start with statement 2. Alright. Now, what we will do is we will understand this entire thing by applying the concept while solving a question. So, let us say how is Ram related to Nitin. So, that is similar to the question that I had given to you in the beginning of the discussion here. So, Revati, Nitin's mother, is cousin of Sukesh, the uncle of Ram, clear. So, how is Ram related to Nitin? So, Revati, Nitin's mother. So, Nitin, we are trying first from statement 1. So, Nitin, just let us write down Nitin, and Nitin's mother is Revati. So, Revati is Nitin's mother, and we use normally a circle. Now, I have discussed this with you in blood relations, circle for females and squares for males, vertical line for generation gap. Is Revati is the cousin of Sukesh. So, Revati and Sukesh are cousins, and we do not know the gender of Sukesh here also. Even if I assume that okay, Sukesh is a male, then also what happens? They are cousins. That means their parents are siblings. Their parents are siblings. So, that is one thing that we can understand. And Sukesh is the uncle of Ram. Now, that means Ram could be the brother of Nitin, but then that sufficient information is not there. So, we cannot solve from statement 1. Now, let us see from statement 2, Praveen, Ram's father-in-law, is the grandfather of Sachin. So, Praveen, Ram's father-in-law. So, Ram is married to someone, and this person's father is Praveen. And Praveen is the grandfather of Sachin, the nephew of Nitin. So, again here we cannot tell, okay, Praveen is the grandfather of Sachin. So, how many children does Praveen have, that we do not know. So, this also invalidates, and there is no way of finding out from statement 2 also. Is there any way we can combine these two statements? Nitin's mother is the cousin of Sukesh, the uncle of Ram, and here you can say Ram is in the second generation and a nephew of Nitin. So, Ram and Nitin are in the same generation. So, even after combining the two statements, you will not be able to solve this question. So, the answer will become E. Alright. Now, let us look at the next question. Towards which direction was X facing after he stopped walking? So, this is a question of direction sense. X walked 20 meters towards east, took a left turn and walked 10 meters. Let us start from here. X, let us say this point is there from which he is starting. He walks 20 meters towards east from this point. So, let us just put like this. Okay. So, X walked 20 meters east So this distance is 20 meters, took a left turn and walked 10 meters. So if it takes a left turn from east, he will go towards north and he walks 10 meters. Again took a left turn and stopped after walking 25 meters. Takes a left turn and walks 25 meters. Now this distance is 10 and this distance is 20 and this is 5, because this is 20 again. So we know this is 20. Clear? So towards which direction was X facing after he stopped walking? So at least we can tell that he was facing west direction. So from the first question we can answer the question. The question can be answered from the first statement. Now let's look at the second statement. X walked 25 meters towards west, starts from here and walks 25 meters towards west. 25 meters towards west, took a right turn and walked 10 meters, and it took a left turn and stopped walking after 30 minutes. Sorry, first he took a right turn and walked 10 meters, then he took a left turn. So if he takes the left turn, he will go in this direction and walks for 30 meters. That is not important, because we are just looking at the direction. So again the direction is west. Which direction is this? This direction is west. So in both the cases we are getting the answer. In this case the answer is same, but it is not necessary that the answer that you get in the first case and the answer which you get in the second case are same. It is not necessary. Please understand that. You have to get the answer. What is the answer? That is not important. So what we see here is that the question can be solved from 1 alone as well as from 2 alone. So if the answer option says D, either statement alone, then the answer will be D, that is either statement alone. But again this A, B, C, D keeps changing, from different questions in different examination papers. Either statement alone. That means we can solve from A alone, one statement 1 alone, as well as from statement 2 alone. That is what, and this is an example of a question on direction sense. Let's look at this question now. This is a puzzle based question, a circular seating arrangement question, given as a data sufficiency question. So A, B, C, D, E and F are sitting in a circular table facing the center. There are 6 persons facing the center. How many persons are there between E and F if counted clockwise from F? Okay, clockwise. So if F is here and we take clockwise from F, and suppose E is here, then how many persons are there between E and F? That is what the question is asking. So in order to solve a question of this type, what we will do, we will make a circular seating arrangement. So there are 6 persons, we will make a circle and we will make 6 positions here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, and all are facing the center. So just let us make these arrows here, so that we know that they are facing the center. And since there are 2 statements and you will solve it twice, what we will do, we quickly make one more circle, keep it ready, and see if now I think we have I made 8 chairs here. It is not required to make these 8 chairs, we just needed 6 chairs, no? So just let me draw this circle again. So we have a circle. Now we have 6 persons. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, as equidistant as possible. That's one thing that you should keep in mind. Okay, so just let's make the diagram here again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So there are 6 persons who are sitting equidistant from each other. Now we will start with statement 1 first. B and E sit adjacent to each other and B is on the immediate left of F. So what we will do, we start from here. B is on the immediate left of F. So let us say F is here. It is my choice where I want to put F. Okay. Let us change the color of the ink here, so it is easier for you to follow. So let us say B is on the immediate left of F. So I can place F here. When someone is facing towards the center, left is in the clockwise direction. So B is to the immediate left of F. That is correct as given in the question. and B and E sit adjacent to each other. That means, if B and E are adjacent, then the only place E can come is here. And now you can see very clearly that we can tell that in the clockwise direction from F, there is one person between F and E. How many persons are there? One. What is the answer? There is one person. That means we can very easily solve this question from statement 1. Now let us start from statement 2, and A and C are adjacent to each other. There is one person sits between D and E. A is not an immediate neighbor of E. So A and C are adjacent to each other. There is one person sits between D and E. So let us start with this. Let us start with this D and E. So if D is here, A is not an immediate neighbor of E. So if D is here, then where can E come? One option for E would be that, okay, E is here. Now this is one option, and another option for E could be that, okay, E is here, right? The two options that we get for E. This is now becoming a case question, right? So we just take here two options are there, because there is one person sits between D and E. A and C sit adjacent to each other. A is not an immediate neighbor of E. So if I take this case, A and A and C are adjacent to each other, and A is not an immediate neighbor of E. If I take this case here, then the only place A and C can occupy is this one. This will be AC, and this will be E, and this will be ACED. This one person A is not, okay. Second case would be that if I take E here, then A and C would be here. So we know ACED, we don't know where is B, we don't know where is F. From the second statement, there is no way of finding out where is B and where is F. So that means from the second statement we cannot solve this question. The answer will be, we can solve this question from statement 1 alone. The answer will be A. Clear? So from statement 1 alone. We can solve this question from statement 1 or 2 cases we are getting, and even if you take this case EAC, this is E, this is AC, and then F can be here or F can be here, right? That is one case. Okay, let us try. I think we can probably solve this. Just let's see, one second. Let's say that, okay, this is one case where E is here and A and C are occupying these two places. This is E. Now there are only two places left for F. Now one is this one, and the other one, if you see here, the other possible option is F can be here. So these are the only two places F can take, and if you take clockwise, now in this case there is no one between F and E. If I take from this case, there is 1, 2, 3, 4 persons. So yes, it is based on cases. We can't solve from the second statement alone. Therefore the answer is certainly going to be that we can solve it from 1 alone, but not from 2 alone. And since we are able to solve from 1, there is no need to combine also. What is the code for adequate in the code language? Now there are 3 statements here. This is also a data sufficiency question based on 3 statements. What is the code for adequate in the language? So you see, adequate is used here in the first statement. So from 1 alone, obviously we cannot solve, because one statement alone, how can we find out what is the code for adequate? Now if we use 1 and 2, now you see in 1 and 2 adequate is common and is also common. We can see very clearly that VO is common and JI is also common. That means now we cannot tell whether adequate is VO or JI. But the moment we use the third statement, we get to know that, okay, is here but adequate is not here, VO is here but JI is not there. That means is stands for VO and adequate is JI. So what is adequate? JI, by using all 1, 2 and 3. So what is the answer? All 1, 2 and 3. Now next we will look at the contest question from the previous class, that was based on syllogism. All bags are boxes, all bags are beds. What will be the logical conclusion obtained from the above statements? All bags are boxes, all bags are beds. So how will you make this diagram? You see here, this is bags, and all bags are boxes, and all bags are beds. Now there are 2 possibilities. One is that bed can be inside also. This is one case. all bags are beds. Also we can say that if this is bags and all bags are boxes and all bags are beds, so beds can be outside. Okay. In both the cases boxes and beds are overlapping, so what we can say is that some boxes are definitely beds, some boxes are beds, some boxes are beds. That will be the conclusion of this particular statement. Also remember, when the middle term, that is the common term, is distributed twice, it is distributed in the first case also and the second case also, then the conclusion is going to be particular. That is one thing. And also we can use distributivity, or we can use the Venn diagram and solve the question. That will be the solution for the previous session contest question. Now let us see the contest question for today. Now this is not based directly on data sufficiency, just a very basic question from reasoning that you can try and solve. A tricky question. If red is called green, green is called yellow, yellow is called black, black is called orange, orange is called blue, and then what is the color of glass? So read the question, see what is the trick in this question, and then post the answer in the comment section. This is a very simple question. I am sure that if you read carefully, you will be able to find the answer and post it in no time. So I will be discussing the solution for this contest question in my next reasoning class. So if you have not tried now, you can try it later also and try to see if you find the answer. So for now we will continue with the discussion of problems from data sufficiency. Let us look at this question now. This is again a direction sense question. Village R is towards which direction of village M? So let us try from the first. Village M is to the west of village T. So if this is a village M and village M is to the west of village T, which is south of R. Clear? So village R is towards which direction of village M? Now how can we exactly find out the directions? If you see from M, if you look at T, M is to the west of T, M is to the west of T, so this is your west. M is to the west of T. And R, T, which is the south of R. So R is towards which direction? So if you look at this here, north, south, east, west, this direction is your northeast direction. So what is the answer for the first one? Northeast. Let us try for the second one. Village M is to the south of village B. This is B, and village M is to the south of B, which is to the west of village R. B is to the west of village R. So now R is towards which direction from M? Again you see from here also the direction is northeast. So from both the questions we can solve alone. So answer will be D, from either statement alone. We can solve the question from either statement alone. Let us look at the next question here, which is again based on coding. Coding based question 1. One question from blood relations, one question from circular seating. These are all fixed part in the exams. Okay. In the code, where is she? What is the code for where? What is the code for? In a code language, where is she is written as ka mate, and she is good is written as te karo. Now you see here, is and is and she are common in the first and second statement, and te and ka are also common. So what is left? Ma. That means the answer is where is Ma. That's very easy. Now look at the second question here. Where are you going is written as la ma pa je, and where is the girl is written as cha fa ma te. Now what is common between the first and second here? You see, where is common. Also, are you going is the girl. Nothing else is common. Except where nothing else is common between the first and second statement. So there should be only one common code between the first and second statement, and that common code is ma. That means again we can say that where is ma. So we can solve from the first statement as well as from second statement. The answer becomes D. So that's how we solve this question. And now let's look at this question again here. What does PE mean in a code language? So in this code language, na, si, la, lo means you may go now, and ne, si, na, pe means he may go there. So, what is common between the first and second sentence? You may go now, he may go there. May and go both are common. Clear? May and go are common, you and now are not common. So, what is the common codes in the first and second sentence? Na is common, so we can cancel na, and C is common, so we can cancel C. What is left now? You and ne and pe, and what is left here? He and there. So, from the statement 1 we can say that ne or pe will stand for he or there, but we cannot find out what does PE stand for from the first statement. So, we will say from first statement we cannot solve the question, because there are two possibilities. Pe can be either he or pe can be there. So, from first we cannot solve. Now, let us try from the second one. See here, pe is there. Okay, first of all, come there and see, come here and see, come and see. Three common letters are there. Come and see, come and see. Alright, so what are the common codes now? Say is common, so we will cancel say, and bow is common, so we will cancel bow. What else is common? Key is common, so we will cancel key. So, come and see are cancelled. What is left there? So, there is pay. That means from second we can tell alone that there is pay. So, we do not need the first statement, we can solve from the second statement alone. The answer will be B from statement 2 alone, but not from statement 1 alone. That is the solution for this particular problem discussion. So, you have seen how do we approach data sufficiency, what is the question template for data sufficiency, what kind of questions come from data sufficiency, and how do we solve them. So, data sufficiency again is not a separate type of question, separate concept in reasoning, is just a different way of asking the same types of questions of reasoning. One question is given with incomplete information followed by two statements. You have to use the two statements separately and try to solve the question. If you cannot solve separately, then you have to combine, accordingly choose the right answer option. Always make sure that you read the answer options when you are solving the question, because answer options need not be same everywhere. Alright. So, now is the time for the class practice pack, in which you have 10 questions from data sufficiency that give you the right difficulty understanding for the IBPS clerk prelims examination. Those who have passport access will start solving the question. Once you hear the sound, the question that most of you will get wrong, I will be discussing in my next reasoning session. So, best of luck to you, and thank you for watching the video.